Hi, this is Slimedog,
And Topo.
and today we're playing Subnautica on the PS4.
Woo! It's a really fun game. The first day we played for approximately 12 hours we put into it.
Yeah, we haven't really marathoned a game this hard in ages, and it's a kind of fun one. And, okay, so Subnautica is a sort of a survival crafting... What do you want to call it? What do you want to throw in there? There's survival and there's crafting. You're basically a survivor from this wrecked spaceship on this kind of watery world.
You start out, you'll see here, you start out on this pod, a little life pod that ejected from this ship that's crashing that you see on the screen now. And you have like nothing, and you have to figure out how to survive. And you start with the basic blueprints on making like a breathing mask or a... It also takes a long time to load. That's why we get to chat for a bit.
Yeah.
Because there is no load time in the in-game. It is amazing.
Yeah,
except
actually.
that one section, you did have a little bit of lag. Where were you? In the mushroom?
Well, occasionally there's a second or two of lag when it's loading a certain area.
There was one area that you were in that was like super deep or something last night that was like, you said was really sluggish. But
well, it gets choppy sometimes. The frame rate gets really choppy if things go to pieces, but it's keeping track of a lot of stuff. There's
like a whole world.
Yeah, so. It's kind of tracking everything at once. So, but this is the inside of our habitat. This is after we got out of our life pod and found a bunch of blueprints and did some crafting. We're actually fairly well on in the game. We're not quite at, we're not at the end yet, and there's a lot of stuff we don't have yet. But we spent a lot of time getting this far.
I meant to start at the front door and I forgot.
Okay, well, that's fine.
Well, because we had to reset stuff. But
anyway, so here's outside, so you swim around.
Swim around, la la la. So fun, that's one of our cameras there.
Oh, show them the aurora from here. Just like look up at it.
Oh, right.
There's the ship that we landed on. It crashed.
That crashed.
You see, it's a really big ship, and actually, this gives you an idea. Like,
and over there is our life pod.
That's where the game started. Was just a little ways over in that direction.
And as a by the by, we built our base here. You can do that wherever. The life pod lands in that general vicinity, but it's not like a set specific coordinate that it lands on.
Mm-hmm.
We found some posters, so we put those up. Over here we have our scanning room that maybe we can... Oh, look, see, there's pictures. Because why?
Oh, creature eggs.
Because there's... Oh, creature... Yeah, that's right, we're scanning for creature eggs.
And if you look at the scan thing there, you can see all the creature eggs is found, which is to say not many. There's apparently 2 near us. And that's about it. Looks like that's in the grassy area.
And you can do scan room upgrades and use the fabricator to make said upgrades.
Yeah, you can craft upgrades out of raw materials that you find. Now, the biggest kind of misconception I see about this game, or I've heard about this game, is people think it's Minecraft. Like, they're like, oh, it's that water Minecraft game. And this game really is not Minecraft. I feel like it's a lot closer to Fallout. Maybe not so story-heavy. It's got a lot... The story's a little bit more subtle. It's got a lot of mystery to it, and you're trying to figure out what's going on, and you're trying to escape. So there's definitely story to it. But it's not. There's not like tons of character and dialogue and NPCs and stuff in this game. It's mostly just you in the water, and you find little recordings left behind by other people from the ship
that got sent out.
Yeah, and so I'm enjoying the story, but basically, yeah, it's not Minecraft. You can make a base wherever, but the game isn't quite as wide open and story free as Minecraft is.
And like we started with this hallway and this hallway basically. So we crammed a bunch of storage here, and we always make sure to have a medical kit and first aid. Here we have our fire extinguishers and some backup food and batteries because emergency. But then we found plants and found pots, blueprints to make the pots. And we're able to expand a little bit. We were able to build it. We had to find the blueprint to build this room, for example.
The multi-purpose room, which
is
you wouldn't think it'd be that hard to find, but
no, but it apparently is.
Until then, you're doing everything you need in the tunnels,
in this little hallway, and that's like all you can make. And then the radio you want to keep on because it has. Still, we lost. Okay, so we built it with solar power because that's what you start with.
And we were very close to the surface.
Yeah, we're like right there. Well, you saw. Here's where you can breed eggs that you find.
Creature eggs and coral and samples and stuff. There's a great big tank that we made that you can actually go in there with it to drop off new ones.
Oh, there's the new egg that hasn't hatched yet.
Yeah, we're waiting for him to hatch. Actually, there's 2 of them in there, 2 new ones in there. We don't know what they are. Here's hoping for a cuttlefish.
And normally, like this, for example, would attack and blow up and kill you.
Yeah,
well,
or
not kill you, hurt you a lot. And
the
this
Stalker
guy
over there
likes to stab you
yeah,
as well.
He's a jerk.
But when you grow them in this containment, they grow up docile.
Yeah, so, they don't attack you.
But I think if you overcrowd it, they may attack each other. Oh, look, it looks like we have 2 of the rabbit ray. No, that's a spade, isn't it?
Yeah, that's your spadefish that you like.
Yeah. And then this we also had to find. This one took forever for us to find the moon pool, where we can store our sea moth, which is pretty early on the first sort of not just swimming your butt around.
Yeah.
Ship. So you start with this little guy. This one we had the hardest time thinking that because it kept aiming it at the wall, and we're like, we can't fit in there. Well, it makes a little ledge so you can stand here, and these are the upgrades for the sea moth.
You can actually make upgrades for both the sea moth and one of your other vehicles, the prawn suit, which is like one of those big, deep kind of like Deep Star 6 heavy stomping like deep water suits. It's got big fists you can punch with and whatever, but it's also kind of not very nimble.
So this is my one sort of I'm not sure. You can sort of explain. I don't know. So you use the fabricator.
Make some things.
This is what you start with. It's not powered because our power was off. So you start with the fabricator, and that's where you like bring a fish inside, and it will cook the fish for you, and it'll make the special fish into water for you because you're constantly. That is like your main first thing is food and water.
It's
water mostly and food.
It's
and
how you turn resources into stuff that you actually need. Yes.
So this is like your first basic. You can make a flare. You can make a fire extinguisher. The radio, so you can keep in touch.
Mm-hmm.
Try, listen for clues. Then this one is mods. Again, your various equipment. Oh, look, we can do bigger fins. By the by, we can now do woohoo. But we don't know how to make the polygon.
Wirelessly charges your handheld tool while you swim.
Oh.
I'll stick with the crazy fast fins instead because I like to get away from the stuff chasing me.
Right.
It's like, hey, look, I got to charge up my recorder so I can record it eating my leg.
So, like, here's Cmos Upgrades.
Which is your sub.
And you can do Depth Module MK2 and Depth Module MK3. But not one. One, you start with, you have to have the moon pool so that you can access over here this one. To upgrade to MK1. It's like, so why did I have to do 1 here, but 2 and 3 are over there? We had that thing.
There's a lot of different devices that let you make different things, and they're scattered all over the place.
And that doesn't even go into the whole, this thing, which is up here. We have to come out here and be like, so wait, what do I need to build my whatnots? So there's this one also, vehicles and, rockets.
It would have been a lot easier if they would have consolidated everything into one thing. Whether it's
I guess technically, if you look at it, okay, so here's the...
Well, if they did it in your... Like, if they did some sort of handheld device...
You can see it here.
You can see all your blueprints in one place, but not where you actually make them.
Oh, the making them, and you just sort of have to remember.
And it doesn't have like all the upgrades in here and stuff. Well, it does eventually. It's got your blueprints here.
That's the thing is that you have to.
But it doesn't tell you where to do if you wanted to make one of these, it's like, okay, do I go to the vehicle upgrade station or do I go to?
There's probably a reason for all this. At any rate, we're not positive on how and where and what. But
some of those upgrades you actually make on the vehicles themselves. So
there's that too. There's our little moon pool that it took us forever to. So, we're not showing you the various, what is it called? Oh, where you can find stuff, because do as we did, find it online.
Find it just by exploring. It's really fun to explore this game.
No, you just go around. But if you're looking for a specific something, like, I need 1 piece of lead, where do I find that? You can go online. There's tons of, no, not yet, great. I'm gonna get in the Cmos because I think we're done with our fun.
You showed off everything in that. Basically,
well, kind of, basically, yeah.
Yeah, and now here is the other thing we just made, which is our big sub, the Cyclops, which is big enough to actually have a little landing bay where it's containing our prawn suit. So
it can also hold your Cmos if you were so inclined.
This is the biggest vehicle in the game and sort of the sub that you're striving for the whole game. And it, too, can be upgraded 6 ways till Sunday, so...
Nifty stuff, you can store stuff in it. It comes with built-in storage, and we stuck the fabricator next to it because odds are we're going to have to build something. If you walk through this door, which is sometimes closed, too, you can see there's the base of whatever you've got.
There's the prawn suit. You could also dock the
Cmos
there, but we usually use the prawn suit for this. Because also, this guy and this guy goes down a lot lower than the Cmos does normally, unless you really upgrade the depth on the Cmos.
Which is another thing. And then
prawn suit even further still.
Here's yet another fabricator, but this is for the Cyclops upgrades, but there's a different than the other one. I don't know.
That's the... I'll go see if the power cells were charged. I'm recharging one of the power cells on this guy.
So one of the things we did was build a power cell charger here so that we could get to our charge our Cmos. I will say that the Cyclops. I will say this: we took it a long ways away, and
it does not use much power. Yeah,
virtually none. And even though it's sitting here with all these lights and stuff on and hovering, whatever, it's still not actually using. And this is where you get into your suit.
Now that said, we also don't have a lot of the upgrades ready and installed on the Cyclops.
True, maybe that'll take.
I think if we filled up like there's all sorts of like a shield system you can make. There's all sorts of like cool mods that you can stick on this thing. Torpedoes. That's actually one of the things about this game is they really downplay the use of weapons. And apparently it was a conscious decision on the designer's part, but more or less, you have a knife, and that's about as good a weapon as you're going to be able to construct through the whole game. Now, on some of the subs you can upgrade and eventually get torpedoes, but even then, that's not even... It's not... You're generally not out to kill stuff. Like, you can use weapons on things to kind of drive it away, but... overall, yeah, we need silver ore to finish that up.
So we were trying to be... It came with the fire extinguisher, but we wanted to put a medical kit here.
Presumably once you're a Cyclops, if it gets beat up by something huge, and there are very huge monsters in this game, then, parts of it catch on fire, it spreads leaks, you gotta run around and patch it before it all blows up.
So, and we're not going to go into super depth here of what you can and cannot do here. We did install a radio here, which thankfully, because while we were out exploring, we did get more messages, even though it's been quite some time.
The radio, by the way, delivers you like narrative content for the story.
Right. Which it does have
every
quite
so
a
often,
story, by the by.
Yeah. Every so often, it'll give you clues as to where the next life pod is. Yeah, we can go.
We just wanted to show you some of the fun things that you can... There's our habitat.
Yeah, it's pretty. Yeah. Now, and we only have one. There's nothing stopping you from making 2 or 3 or 50 habitats.
We do plan to make some more, but and you can see part of our issue has been power keeps shutting off, and we currently have some solar panels up there, but when it's nighttime, we're drawing so much energy from all our various whatnots that we do. This is some stuff that you can get out and scan, and this is where you pick up weapons and blueprints, not weapons, sorry.
Yeah, anything
weapons,
you can make
like,
once you've made the scanner, and you have to make the scanner. But once you've made the scanner, you can scan creatures, you can scan plants, you can scan rocks, like anything in the game. I'm trying to hit the ground so hard.
Sorry, I'm not the best at the flying stuff.
Well, look for the Kelp Forests.
That's what I was trying to find. So we were here. I just saw it over here, isn't it?
Yeah.
I think so. Oh, it's towards our pod.
Yeah.
So we built our... Yeah, because I hit it on the way last time. That's what I... Okay, there we go.
There we go, yeah.
So these are called Kelp Forests by the community online. They're actually creeper vines. And when you first find them, which is pretty soon, because
they're very close to the start.
The starting area has the pod, and you use stuff from it to make power various things. Anyway,
you've got the creeper vines. You can grab the seed pods. All of it makes resources that you need to do various.
This is your first
gizmos.
little fish. This fish down here, he has a lot of water in him. So you take
Oh,
him
yeah.
back and he'll convert
The guy,
to water.
they look like little purple hearts. Those
Yeah.
guys are really valuable
guy.
early on because you're going to use those to get fresh water and not die. Oh, and part of it, by the way, is we're actually playing this in survival mode. Don't just plow into that rock. Maybe get out of the sub
Yeah, I'm working on it.
before you blow it up.
Stop. You can, if you're running low on air, you can head over to that brain coral. It does release little bits of air if you don't happen to be close enough to get to the surface.
I'm not sure if it's enough to completely fill you. It probably is.
Well, if you stand there long enough, it will. Okay,
Anyway, you can play it in. We're playing it in survival mode, which means we've got those 3 gauges over there: the life, the kind of the apple food gauge, and the water gauge that are all like gradually, slowly ticking down. Well, except for the life. The life ticks down if you get. Ooh, grab that. We're looking for something, aren't we?
We're always looking for
Silver.
minerals.
Was
Just
that
by
silver?
the by, we're
Right.
always looking for minerals.
We need silver. We're out of silver.
We are.
Anyway, the water goes down
gauges.
fastest, and that's kind of the main thing you need to stay alive in general. The food
Here's
second
the
fastest,
creep vine.
and life only goes down if you get hit. If you don't play in survival mode, I think there's explore mode or adventure mode, one of the other modes, where you don't have to worry about food or water at all. It probably would make the game a whole lot easier, but it kind of depends on what kind of experience you want out of this. So if you're more into the exploring and maybe you don't want to be bothered like having to catch fish and stay alive so much, then maybe go for that mode. Just play how you want.
How do you do that?
Yeah, you.
Got it.
Yeah, there you
So
go.
that's how you do that.
Why are you grabbing
ahead.
creeper vines?
I was showing them. Those are a couple of the basic materials that you can pick up early on that you'll want. Now there are. You don't have to keep it. I'll drop it if I need to. I'm looking for the.
Yeah, one of the things that we found out kind of later in the game that you need, sort of like a mid to late game item, is you need a lot of this. Was it reinforced glass or the
Enameled glass.
enamel glass?
Okay, so these guys you want to watch out for because ouch,
They will bite.
They will bite. But with most of these, not all of them, but most of these fish that come at you, if they come at you and you swing at them with your knife there, or even punch them. When we were in the prawn, we punched someone, and he was like, never mind, and he turns around and goes away.
Yeah.
They will back off from you. Oh, he's infected. They'll back off from you if you let
Look
them.
at him.
Look,
He's chasing
going after
He's
little
chasing the boomerang.
Ah, yeah.
Hey, you got it.
And
Cycle
better
of
him than
life,
us.
people.
But see, they love the metal, and they pick up the metal and they splash.
Ooh,
Oh, hey,
you're
there's
gonna
a
whack
dude.
him. He's gonna go after you.
Whatever, I'll go get some air. They hit the metal, and when they do that, they sometimes will chip their tooth out. So
Yes.
we finally found that out, and we were like, we needed this tooth to make this glass, and we're like, oh, what are we gonna do? We stood and watched this guy
Stalker
for like
teeth are a very
20 minutes
Yeah.
of doing that till he finally dropped a tooth, and we're like, okay, well, this is insane.
Yeah, we had we made a little pile of metal for him. We dragged him out to a different area, and we just watched him cycle that for like an hour and a half. Then we found out there's a much easier way to do it.
We'll see if I can get this. I'm not the best at. I really get messed up on this. I'm sorry.
Here, can I see?
I'll get it.
You're killing me here.
Stop. Well, you're supposed to be talking.
Yeah, well, it's hard to. I'm getting vertigo from all your back and forth whiplashy.
Well, because you made me get out of the ship.
Oh, the ship would be exploded by now. We're already down to 70% life because you keep ramming into walls.
Oh, well, let me go find my Cmos and then I'll find it. I did just fine, by the by, when you weren't. I do better when he's not watching. I get nervous.
Mm-hmm. Anyway, you need the anything that requires like the reinforced glass. So a lot of the enamel glass. A lot of the components, the mid to late components in the game, like the Cyclops takes a whole bunch of it. You're going to need to find these teeth. So finding a better, more accurate way of, or a more efficient way of gathering teeth is helpful. And Topo stumbled across a pretty good way. Well, not stumbled. She was eagle-eyed and savvy.
Well,
and
I sort of figured. Well, we were over here looking for blah blah blah. I think we needed more creeper vine, and I was like, well, they're over here. Let's look around. And sure enough, we found some just laying on the ground because the creeper vine is where these guys like to hang out.
Yeah.
So we
You
were
gotta
able to.
Aim down.
Well, except for if I aim down, I crash it. You told me stop crashing. But I'm looking for my spot. Is that the spot with the salt? There's this, no, that's the oil. We have a spot that we discovered was. It's going to be different, I'm sure, with every. It's not like it'll be identical to your game necessarily, but let me see if I can find a.
Can you find anywhere where there's
chunks of metal?
Yeah, if you see metal, then there's a decent chance that there's going to be some teeth nearby, and you're better off trying to look for it in the kelp forest itself rather than like
out in the just loose, because they like to hang out. Is that? Oh, for a second, those bubbles. I was like, are those just floating up? That's the shape of the teeth that we're looking for.
Yeah, they're actually little like cone shaped. They're
they
like
look
fangs.
like fangs. Yeah.
But they're also hard to see because, especially on sandier ground, they.
There's a piece of salt there.
On sandy ground, they tend to blend in a little bit. They look like shadows sometimes.
Find that little nook that we found earlier. There. That looks about right. I handed off the controller. I handed off the controller because I'm making him nervous. He's making me nervous.
To repaint the sub.
Oh yeah, I was going to show how to drink some
Seek
water.
fluid intake.
Vital signs.
Means I need to drink something. See, and now my blue gauge went up 50.
That's from that recycled water that we did. Oh my gosh. Here we go. Is it this section?
Oh, there's a beacon chunk.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, that looks right. There's
back,
the...
Back up.
Back up?
Yeah, just back up. Yeah, so because these guys... Okay. Let's see. I mean, you can swim down there because I think... And you can show how to repair the vehicle too. So I don't know if there's any...
So you're just being helpful when you banged up the rock.
Yeah, I was trying to show them how you can repair the vehicle. These guys are additional to Usually it auto picks up, sometimes it doesn't. For some unknown reason. Okay. Don't know because we have the volume. I think it might have chained you, maybe. I don't know.
Okay.
So there's our salt. We found a fair bit of
and see that they're dropping stuff.
They pick
on
it up
me.
and drop it, the metal pieces, because that's what they like to do. Is it no? Oh, that's what it is. You hear the ching of the metal from him picking it up.
There's a tooth. And see that's what you're looking
that's
for.
what I was trying to show you. It's underneath the edge. Anyway, let's see. There you go.
Surprised
it got dark.
Biting me. Usually
No,
more bitey.
I think I don't know if it's our suit or. I'll show the repair real quick.
Well, here, I'm going to move out of this
Welcome
area.
aboard, Captain.
Welcome aboard, Captain. I'm going to say British company too because the accents are all British, except for the Scottish one.
Unknown Worlds is the developer and published by
Stop
Gearbox.
hitting yourself. Okay, he
don't,
jumps out.
Don't hop
ahead
out of the
time.
sub like when it's moving because you hurt yourself. I do that a lot.
So here's a little repair gun that you make early on, and
you use
we actually have to use it pretty straight away because your life pod didn't come out completely unscathed.
It's actually it's kind of one of your first big triumphs is making the repair gun that'll let you like actually fix all the junk in your escape pod. They do a really good job of kind of like making you feel like every little step you make towards survival is like a really big accomplishment. So
earlier I did pass through that kelp forest, and I picked up approximately like 8 of those stalker teeth because they were I just cleaned that area out, and perhaps that's why there's not a whole lot there right now.
But okay, yeah. Well,
yes,
okay, so another point in the game, and this is as close as we're going to come to spoilers, and it's not really a spoiler, but at some point you're going to want to be able to get into the Aurora. There's lots of great stuff in there. You're going to want to get access to it, and it's kind of dangerous around the Aurora. There's some very nasty things there. So I was just gonna we're just gonna show you kind of like the easiest way to get in there. There you go.
You swim up towards the front end.
Yeah. We made the base all the way at the back end of it, which is kind of the closest end to the life pod. But you're gonna want to go to the front end and drive around the front of it. If you try to go around the back, nasties.
You don't want to go to the back end.
Well, you can explore around the back.
Sure,
I highly encourage you to go check out things that are dangerous and that sort of thing. But if you want to get to there and not die, do this.
Well, yeah, because there's no opening. We did not realize there wasn't an opening at the back end initially. And then you hit all the way towards the front, you'll get to this part. It's sort of odd,
Yeah. And this is the hole you're looking for that'll let you get into the Aurora.
By
the way,
I swam over towards the blue light on the right over there. We took the ship over. Where are you going that way?
this is where I go. Why are we going
No,
this way?
because that's how we went before. That was how we went the very first time.
Well, yeah, no, it's the wrong place.
Well.
Anyway.
These stupid little
jerks.
crabs. They are... And again,
Oh, by the way, they're back, so they do respawn.
eventually. It's been a few days.
Oh, I hate these guys. Bring a knife. Keep it stuff.
Oh, that was the thing we wanted to tell you, but we forgot to show them the gun. Okay.
Well, you can describe the gun, people.
Okay. Right. So, things that you will want to bring along with you.
Mm-hmm.
Fire extinguisher, which we forgot. However, they do leave some around for you, but
it's not
just
required.
Just enough. If you forgot, like we didn't, for some reason, didn't think to bring a fire extinguisher to a burning ship. But there's also, to get into this doorway, you have a basically it's a grav gun. I forget what it's called.
Propulsion gun.
All right. There's propulsion and then repulsion later. You can.
You'll
upgrade
definitely want to have made the propulsion gun and bring the propulsion gun with you when you come to the Aurora.
Which is
no one
also
really tells
a relatively
you that, but
early on item. You can come to the. We put off coming here much sooner for quite some time, just because. Yeah, I think you could certainly come sooner. Propulsion gun for that. Fire extinguishers. There's quite a lot of water and food on the ship actually. So
there really is. Although
you might want to have one with you.
Bring one fire extinguisher for sure because it'll make the exploring a lot easier.
Bring
plenty of. Actually, make sure you leave plenty of space because there's a lot of great stuff on the ship that you're gonna want.
That you didn't open that box.
I opened it before. It's just respawned.
I don't think you did.
What do you mean? I left the box that's right in the middle of everything.
Any rate, these things.
Get these guys.
Oh, and first aid kits. Make sure you have a couple first aid kits. We usually carry 2 on us at all times in general.
Oh my God.
Okay.
These jerks are there. Anyway.
And propulsion gun, fire extinguishers,
That's
like
it.
a water and a. No, I feel like there was something
You can bring enough water because you're gonna need.
Oh, your scanning tool, obviously, but you pretty much that's.
Oh, and your repair
equipment.
tool. Like, definitely bring your repair tool.
Yes, and the repair tool.
Yeah.
Because I guess you don't have to carry those. I mean, there's a crab coming at me.
Yeah, there's 50 crabs coming at me.
I see.
But there you go. That's the Aurora, and that's how you get into it.
And we're not going to take you around because that's exploring for you. We've already irradiated it, I guess. Ish?
And
well,
and your radiation suit though. Actually, you mentioned it.
You have to have your radiation suit. So you can come earlier on, but you need to make sure you have a rad suit.
Yeah.
And you and a propulsion weapon. I don't think you would have to get into that room. You do. If you want to fully explore it, you want your propulsion gun.
You'll need the propulsion gun to get through the whole thing. So bring the propulsion gun for sure.
Oh yeah,
bring one fire extinguisher and bring your red.
Which basically just moves crates out of the way.
Sure,
again, by quote unquote
gorgeous.
gun. It doesn't do. They don't do guns per se.
So cool.
It's beautiful, and look at that sunrise. I mean, hello.
Mm-hmm.
So it's, I think we have everything.
Yeah, that's it.
I'm sure that you'll discover. You can come sooner than later. You can build your bases wherever you want, and I think you can have a fun time just like roaming around and exploring this game.
Oh, that's where it is. Our next signal is 2K that way.
Oof, a ways to go. We have beacons. You should make beacons and carry 1 or 2 on you. We have an extra on our Cmos here in case we're out and about. There's those guys. They will bugger you.
They are jerks.
But a lot of stuff. If you've got that little blade, it starts up plain and then you make it into a cauterizing blade later on, which is kind of handy because if you're in the water and you don't want to have to go back and cook your fish, you can just zap it with the blade and then eat it. Which is okay.
Yep.
Though it won't make water for you, but...
No, it does not make water.
Be careful, don't go that way. There's also some really big stuff that's nice and really big stuff that's not so nice, but most stuff is okay. That don't go over the edge. That's creepy. Okay, so we haven't explored everywhere. Oh, there's some limestone. So there's stuff everywhere here you can pick up. I don't know. I guess that's it. Somebody's taken off and now he's just roaming around and not even talking. He's just like...
Yeah. Well, that's the game. It's all about exploring. Here, we can head back over towards base if you want.
I don't care where you go to, but...
There you go.
Just
it's
don't take
excellent.
them off that edge.
It's really worth trying out. Check it out. And they've been... it's had a lot of patches. I think initially it had some issues. If you heard the game was buggy. We have never had the game crash on us, and apparently crash bugs were a problem early on. So they've definitely improved the state of it. It's totally worth giving a shot to. If you like games like Fallout or anything like that, it's a really beautiful game that really sucks you in.
And you can have it's got some kind of scary parts-ish.
Oh, and I've got that weird phobia of the sea thing, so this whole game is just terrifying to me.
How do you go up?
Just point it straight up.
Oh, go straight up?
And push forward.
Oh, there we go. It'll auto-load you in, but...
There you go. But there you have it. Subnautica. Check it out.
I recommend it.
2 thumbs up.
Because
2 fins up.
Two flippers up.
2 flippers up.
Obviously, we started it and played for 12 hours. Ooh, we got an egg.
Oh my gosh.
Oh my gosh, Tommy.
We got a cuttlefish.
Is it a cuddle? That's a cuttlefish.
Yeah, go pick him up.
I'm gonna go pick up the cuddle. So, cuttlefish.
I've never actually seen them in the wild. Scan them, too.
Okay, hold on. Sorry, dude. I'm gonna scan you.
Don't stab him, please. Can you scan him? There you go.
How do you do the scan?
R2.
There. Did it scan him?
No. It's there. Keep it on for a while.
I know, he's swimming all around.
Hey, cool. Now pick him up.
Wait, what did it pick up?
X to pick him up.
I hit X and it picked up something else. Stalker. What is it picking up?
No, you picked up the cuttlefish. That's fine.
Why did it make it look like I got titanium?
Oh, the other guy was a spadefish that we got.
Oh,
okay. Okay, anyway, you can put him down. This is we got... I've never actually seen them in the wild either,
no.
so...
I didn't tell you. So we went over to a deeper area with our new Cyclops and prawn suit because you can go super deep. That you can't normally go so deep. And as such, we found an egg over there that I was pretty sure might be because it was just right at the edge of the entrance. I'm like, I wonder if that'll be the cuttlefish. And sure enough,
yay, cuttlefish.
So exciting.
Oh my gosh. I love it. Anyway, it's a great game. Check it out. We love it. It really roped us in hard.
Right? Oh, coffee. Any rate. We just got a coffee maker. You can get some snacks.
Hey, show them the bedroom.
Oh, okay. You can get a snack and you can get a coffee. Fine. I did go up to the bedroom earlier. But we actually made a bed. It comes with instructions for, being appropriate with the bed.
There's our water filtration unit over there.
We found some fun miniature... Those were fun little things we found over on...
And some self-help posters.
All the posters.
Yeah.
There's the prawn suit that we made. We showed you about that.
Yes, but...
Oh, water.
That's it. Yeah, grab some water. Anyway, thanks for joining us.
See you next time.